Good morning. I'm J. Lenore Bressler, and welcome to the February 5th, 2020 edition of the Bible, Delight in the Details. This morning, I want to talk to you about grammar. Oh, yes, I know that excites you. I am an English major, so I do know a lot about grammar. And perhaps you do too. Maybe you remember some of those grammar classes that you had to take years and years ago. You may remember that in English, there are a variety of tenses: past, present, future, perfect, imperfect, future perfect, all kind of things. But interestingly, in ancient Hebrew, the language of the Old Testament, there are actually only two tenses: perfect and imperfect. Now, what's fascinating is that in the Old Testament, when something has already happened, or when God is telling you what's going to happen, it's the same tense. In other words, something that God is promising is going to happen, or that a prophet is prophesying will happen, is actually stated as if it has already happened. It would be, for example, as if somebody time traveled. If you're a person from 2020 going back and talking to someone of 1950, and you tell them that Donald Trump is president, well, to them it may be future, but to you it's already a done deal. That is how God's prophecy language is stated. So to him, things have already occurred. They are already done, signed, sealed, delivered. It's happened. It would, again, it's like somebody from today going back and saying to someone in the 1820s, man lands on the moon. Well, to them, it's in the future, but it's already been done. And you know that. You know that for a fact. It has occurred. Now, you might say, well, that's very fascinating and interesting, but how does that impact me? We are called to live as people of faith, as people of God. We are called to believe, and not just believe with our heads, but believe with our actions what God has said, what He has promised us, what has been prophesied about us and our future. We need to act and live our lives in the perfect tense. When Jesus said on the cross, "It is finished," that was Him saying for all future time, it is done. All the promises are locked in. They have already happened. And so we act and live in that understanding. I'm a leadership speaker, as you know, and one of the quotes that I often bring to the attention of an audience is that great quote by Stephen Covey, the late great leadership and time management guru, where he said, "You begin with the end in mind." That's how God wants us to live too. We already know the end of the story. We know that we are triumphant. We know that we have been, through faith, deemed good enough for God. We know that He loves us. We don't have to kill ourselves with working hard and worrying about, have I done enough? Have I given enough? Have I served enough? Have I had a good enough thought life, good enough prayer life to get into heaven or to make God happy? We start knowing that we have, and it's out of that confidence and that joy that then we behave. You know, it's a completely different life. And I'm sure many people that I'm talking to right now can attest to this in their own life. If you are a child and you have a parent that you want to be proud of you, and you just you're working so hard, oh, please be proud of me, oh, please love me, that is exhausting. But if you already know that you are loved and valued and honored by that parent, then out of that confidence and that joy, you behave, you live, you interact with that parent, and you interact with your life in a very different, stress-less, much more enjoyable way. I believe that is one of the things Jesus means when in John 10:10, my favorite verse, he says, I have come to give life and life more abundantly. That's abundant life. Living with the end in mind. You already know that all is well, and you are loved, and you are accepted, and all is great. I'm J. Lenore Bressler. Try to live today with a recognition of living in the perfect tense. Have a great day. Bye now.